Well, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video here at the channel of Dirtbaggery, which is me. My name is Bruce. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about book 3, which is Catalyst in the Jack Bishop series written by Steve Diamond. It is the third book and the final book, so I have read the whole series. I feel a little mixed about this one. It's a good book. Steve Diamond's a great writer, but I do have, mixed feelings is the best way I can put it. We'll get into that more after this synopsis.
In a world on the brink of annihilation, Jack Bishop's absence has been a haunting mystery. Imprisoned and subjected to sinister experiments, he battles to survive while the very world teeters on the precipice of its own destruction. Enter Alex, determined to rescue Jack from the clutches of the nefarious Helix organization. Time is running out as the experiments threaten Jack's very existence, and the world hurtles towards an apocalyptic demise. But Jack isn't just a captive, he's a catalyst for salvation. With a daring plan that could change the course of humanity's fate, he's willing to stake his life on a desperate escape from a group of genetically altered trackers who are more monstrous than they are human.
Quick pause. There's a huge portion of this video where my video and my audio were not synced up for whatever reason. I had to restart my computer and my camera. So hopefully for the rest of this, it's fine, but there's going to be a big old patch, and the bulk of this video is going to just be, I haven't decided yet, a picture or random video game footage. I don't know. My apologies. All right. So Catalyst, book 3. It's a good book. I recommend reading it, and the series as a whole is great. However, I do feel like Catalyst is kind of the weakest of the 3. I really enjoy book 1 and 2, Parasite and Residue and Parasite. And it's not that the book's poorly written or that the things in there aren't good. It's quite frankly that there's too much in a little bit. I feel like there's so much that happens in this book, and it's not like a huge book, that I wish it was 2 books. I wish this one, book 3, was more about Jack trying to get out of Helix and whatever that entails. Because when they show up, like the book starts 6 months after Jack gives himself up to the parasite and into Gaines, and he goes and he's captured by Helix. So 6 months after that, Daniel and Alex already know, and Callie already know where Jack is. So we don't see any of that, which is fine. But there's already a plan in place to get him out. They know where he is. And we hear that they spent 6 months trying to figure out where he was at. And then the plan, White basically gives them the plan and everything falls into place. Don't really have a problem with that. I mean, I wouldn't hate having more information as to maybe what that process was like. Maybe more flashbacks to what they went through when they were searching these buildings and facilities and they couldn't find them, and what that felt like. I feel like that was missing a little bit. It gets mentioned a little bit, but I think it's very brief, in my opinion. Everything kind of just happens. So they know where he is. They go, they get him. He gets out. I don't give too much away, but basically a lot of things just happen, and then it's the end of the book and the ending's there. Again, nothing was poorly written. Like, all the scenes are great. The way he writes is really great. I don't know. I felt like I really wish that this was 2 books. I think 4 books would have been perfect. I would have been a little bit more happy with that. It is what it is. It's a trilogy. It's a 3-book series. So take that as you will. My only other gripe with the story is I feel like there was a little bit too much joking coming out of Jack. And I get that, like, you even mentioned in the story, like, it's kind of like a coping mechanism kind of thing. But it just felt like there was too much sarcasm and like little quips coming out of Jack. I wish it was reeled in a little, because it felt like it was more than the last 2 books. And again, it doesn't mention in the book that he's kind of maybe coping that way, but I don't know. Okay, so those are my gripes. The story itself, awesome. The resolution, incredible. It's suspenseful. There is huge stakes, and it's gut wrenching, because there's this possibility that Jack and Alex, if he succeeds, then she'll never know him, or maybe she won't exist. Who knows? and then there's a possibility that he'll die. There's all these possibilities, things that can go wrong. I'm not going to say if it goes wrong or if it goes right, but it's a very high stakes, gut wrenching finale and solution to this apocalyptic problem. As far as that goes, great. The mad science in this is great. We have these other gifted people that have had parts of Jack's brain inserted into them, and now they're trackers. They know where he is. He knows where they are, but he doesn't know what other abilities they have, because they also have their own ability in now addition to having his abilities. They're not as powerful as he is, and they don't know how to use his ability as well as he does. But yeah, makes for some real good trackers and interesting confrontations with those individuals, particularly Faith, who was his nurse, and her ability is she can she touches somebody, she can completely shut down their nervous system, or she can make them feel other things, so she can make you numb, or she can make your pain worse. And she is a psychopath who is infatuated with Jack, psycho, hose beast, stage 5 clinger. She's crazy, and she gets a part of his brain, and now she knows where he is. So she's the worst possible stalker you could ever ask for. She is. I don't know if there's a worse one, because she knows where you are. She can find you wherever you are, and then she can paralyze you and do whatever she wants to you. So Faith is nutty, dude. She's a good little crazy bad lady, dude. She's not the big bad, but she's bad, dude. I really like Jack and Alex's relationship, and how much Alex has kind of come to realize, one, how important Jack is to her, and also how Jack has changed her. I mean, she's still a gun nut, and that's all great and stuff, but she's really realized that she can trust people, and not just Jack, but Jack's father, Daniel, and Callie too. So she now has these 3 people that basically are her family. They mean the world to her, and they're only people in the world that she actually trusts. Martha was probably on the list, but since she died in book 2, now she's down to 3. But she made a nice little journey from book 1 to here, where now she's kind of comfortable, one, acknowledging that she trusts people and being close to people, but also because of how the world has been destroyed and there's a lot less people around, she has less people to listen to. And so she's kind of gotten more comfortable with herself and realizing, I guess, who she is, what she actually likes are the things that she actually likes, because she knows with the lack of people around that she's not being influenced by other people. So she kind of gets this clearer picture of who she is. And when she thinks of Jack and she realizes how she feels about him, she knows that that's a true feeling, which is pretty cool to see. I mean, I do really like Alex's character arc from book 1 to now. I really like that. And it makes the ending even more impactful. Oh, and then Jack is talking to his grandpa a lot in this book. Whenever he falls asleep, he can speak to Wyatt, and his grandpa shows him how to use his ability in a super badass way, super badass. He can basically use his aura as Patrick Swayze in Ghost, cranked up to 11, chopping things in half and then absorb. Almost, he's like the leech. He can be like the leech, on steroids. And he's got to be real careful, because he can get addicted to it. It's kind of what happened to the guy that was the leech, is he got addicted to it and turned into that friggin' monster. So he's got to battle that, where he has this super powerful ability. He can use it to get him and his people he loves out of tight spots. But then he risks losing control, and then he can just become the monster and, kill people he loves. So it's this real tightrope that he has to walk, which I really liked. I thought, again, that's another aspect of this book that I really enjoy and thought Steve did a great job writing. Now, I don't know what else Steve has written. I'm going to have to look up Steve Diamond, see what else he's written, because I've read his collab with Larry, which is Servants of War, and then I read his series here, his debut novels and the 2 following novels. But I don't know what else he's written. I got to check that. I know he's got a short story collection that he's released. I think it's What Hellhounds Dream or something like that. I'm going to check that out. I'm not I don't read a ton of short fiction. Here and there I'll scoop it up, but that might be one I do. One thing I really like about Steve Diamond that I've noticed in his books is how he writes powers, I guess, supernatural abilities, how he writes monsters, how he writes action. It's very, I don't know, man. It's like X-Files meets X-Men. It's really cool. And he's got a real knack, I feel like, for creatures and monsters. Like, he's really good at it. They're all just very interesting. And then some of the monsters you meet in this one, you not meet, but you like encounter, like down in the what do they call them, the pens in Helix. Some weird ones, man. Like kind of off the wall. Like, just, I mean, I guess these are like genetic, experiments. So I guess it makes sense that there's like weird splices, like was that Dr. Monroe's Island? It's weird, like animal human hybrids, weird humans stuff with a bunch of different psychic parasites, just weird creatures through and through, like all around that we get to see. And I don't know, I really like reading monsters and action and powers that are written by Steve Diamond. I think the guy's just good at it. Can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is I like, but yeah, I think it just reminds me of like X-Men and X-Files kind of mixed together. And I don't know, it's really vivid, I guess. He's really vivid, and he really kind of puts out like a visceral feeling. Vivid, visceral. I'm hitting them all, dude. I'm getting you that double alliteration. And he's also really good at coming up with problems and hurdles for his characters, and they're probably like really weird, strange, off the wall hurdles, and then also having weird, off the wall, strange solutions that make sense. As crazy as everything is, like, oh, that was pretty plausible for this world that he's crafted. By no means am I saying don't read this book. Read it. Read the whole series. It's very cool. It sounds like that's it. It's done. I don't think he has plans to write any more in this series, which is a bummer because it's pretty cool. If he ever gets into comics, this would be a rad comic. That's what it is. That's what I like about his writing. It reminds me, like, I feel like it would be really well adapted into comics. It's very visual, right? That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's vivid, visual, visceral. All the V's are getting hit, okay? I think this series would work really good in the medium of comic books, or graphic novels, whatever. If for some reason he wanted to sell the IP or let someone else come in and work in it, and they were going to do graphic novels, I think it would be awesome because there's so much visual stimuli and just fantastic visuals. I keep saying visuals, but yeah, it's I think it would be really good. Also, his Servants of War that he collabed with Larry Correia, that would also make an awesome world for comic books. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of novels out there that are like that, but this one, I don't know, just the way he writes, I think that's what it is that's drawn me to it. Reminds me of a lot of like a comic book style where things are just very punchy and vivid. I know I've said that way too many times, but I'm excited because I pinpointed what it was that I think I really liked about his writing style with his monsters and his powers and his action. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's all I really got to say on this book. It was good. It's not my favorite. Unfortunately, it is my least favorite of the trilogy. Not because the ending wasn't good, not because the action or the monsters or the powers or whatever's not good. I just feel like it should have been expanded. All right, I wish it was expanded. I don't say it should because I'm not going to tell someone how to write their books. I just wish it was expanded for, like, this book would have been just them trying to get him out of there, and then book 4 is how do we fix this? Because there's a ton of information and it could have been expanded there, I feel like. And I felt like there's a lot of stuff happening in this one book. So other than that, great series. The first 2 books are phenomenal. No shade on this one, just my least favorite. And go pick up the Jack Bishop series, Residue, Parasite, and Catalyst, and go check out what else Steve Diamond has written. I can vouch for Servants of War. He collabed with Larry Correia. That book is awesome. That's all I got for this video. Please give me a like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know if you've read it, what you thought about it, if you agree or disagree with me, and let me know what you thought of the video. Until next time, keep on reading.